Hi, this is Lisa Kleitch, and this is a presentation on harmonic textures as part of the elements of music. This is probably not really common vocabulary for you. We're going to be covering three general textures: monophonic, homophonic, and polyphonic, and I'm hoping that I'll make them just as crystal clear as possible. By and large, most of the music that we hear today is homophonic. Melody dominates homophonic music, and the accompaniment is there just to support it. And it can do that in many different ways, so let's take a look at that. Here we're going to hear a famous melody by Beethoven, and watch the piano player's left hand because he's going to be doing arpeggiated chords to accompany this very famous melody. Okay, so that's one form of homophonic texture. Here's another way that it's done. All the instruments are going to be playing notes of the chord rhythmically aligned with the melody. But what you're going to come away from this is not what the cello is playing. You're going to hear the melody first and foremost. There we go. So that's another type. You can also have homophonic texture when you have like a strumming instrument playing the chords to support the melody, like this. It starts out with just the chords, warm you up, introduce it, and that's beautiful just in itself. And in comes the melody. Okay. Now, in a lot of pop music, you get these things like chord stabs and instrumental fills. And in this case, it's going to be a girl group singing. So like the boy group that we covered in the chords, they're also going to be doing kind of that rhythmically aligned chord support for the melody. But still, the melody reigns supreme. Let's give a listen. Okay, so even in Korean pop music, the melody reigns supreme. So let's take a look at monophonic. Mono, one. So one voice, and it can be unaccompanied. You can have several voices singing the same melody unaccompanied, and you can also have several voices singing the same melody but singing in octaves, if you remember from intervals, and also from pitches, octaves and unaccompanied. So let's listen to an example where it's just one singer.
Social and political import. It goes like this. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsches. I must make amends.
Okay, so one voice, no accompaniment. You can also have instruments doing monophonic texture. A lot of the chordal accompaniment is implied, but it's not really a chordal accompaniment. You can also have several voices doing the exact same thing, and that's also monophonic. And yes, a lot of the early Christian church music was monophonic. More complicated is polyphonic texture. And so polyphony, or polyphonic texture, is when you have two independent melody lines and they're playing at the same time. It's almost like they're competing for your attention. They are harmonically related, and there's a whole categories of music that is found in polyphonic form: fugues, canons, and rounds. Now, we don't hear much polyphony today, but it was very popular starting the end of the Middle Ages and going into the Renaissance all the way up till the 1700s. So let's take a listen. This is a wonderful illustrated work because somebody took the time to show you what's happening. It's just monophonic at this point. Now we have two lines competing for your attention. Now you have three lines going. Yes, so it gets really complicated, very hard to play. Now, vocalists can also do polyphony in groups. It's very beautiful and very hard to sing. So again, competing melody lines that create their own texture, polyphonic texture. Now, it doesn't have to be that complicated. How many of you sang rounds when you were kids? Here's an example of a round. A bunch of sixth grade girls.
Ready, go. Row, row, row your boat. Row, row, row your boat. Gently down the stream. Your boat gently down the stream. Life is valley, baby, valley. Life is valley, stream. Row down the stream. Your boat gently down the stream. Life is valley, baby, life is valley.
Okay, so how many of you have done polyphonic texture when you were a kid? Yeah, I know I did. So you'll find polyphonic music in contemporary musical circles, but it's just not that common, like this piece. So it's recorded in 2003. All right, so this will be covered more in part 2.